kind of advice, or how did you kind of handle it when your kids became old enough to start hitting that dating scene?
Well, I sort of talked to my daughter. My daughter and I have a great relationship. We talk about everything. And I was very tough with guys. When she had a guy she liked, I would go to the guy and go, look, I'm a guy. I know what you're thinking, but it's not going to work. And I intimidated him, basically. And one guy tried to run from me. I go, you're going to try to run from me? He goes, oh, you're right. You're fast. So it didn't work. But anyway, you as a father, you have to be tough, especially with daughters, because, guys are guys. They're young kids, and some of them are great kids, and some of them are just going through puberty, and they're just, having fun. But you have to protect your daughters. You have to.
What's doing, everybody? I'm Alec Lace. Thank you for watching First Class Fatherhood. Today's guest on the podcast is Willie Gault. Willie Gault is a legendary NFL Super Bowl champion who is a part of one of the greatest teams of all time, the 1985 Chicago Bears, which won Super Bowl 20. Willie Gault is one of the fastest players in NFL history. He's also a record-setting track star. It's a big honor to have him on the podcast today, so get down there, smack the subscribe button, tap that like, and let's jump into it right now with Willie Gault on First Class Fatherhood. Joining me now, First Class Father Willie Gault. Welcome to First Class Fatherhood.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
All right, let's start like this. How many kids do you have? How old?
I have two. I have a son who's 30 and my daughter's 34.
Very cool. What kind of sports or activities were they into growing up?
Well, my daughter played basketball in high school, and my son played a little baseball and a little basketball, but they both grew up and decided to do something different, which was great. My daughter's in real estate and my son's an artist.
Awesome stuff. All right, if you could, Willie, please just take a second here to hit my listeners with a little bit about your background and what you do.
Well, I grew up in a small town called Griffin, Georgia, 30 miles south of Atlanta. Played college football at the University of Tennessee, went to Griffin High School. I attended the University of Tennessee on a football football scholarship, but I ran track there. I made the Olympic team my first year in 1980. Made All-American in track and in football my senior year. Led the team. Then was drafted by the Chicago Bears, number 1 in 1983. Played my rookie year. We won the Super Bowl in 1985 with the Bears. I was then traded to the Raiders in 1988. I also made the 1988 Winter Olympic team in bobsledding. So played with the Raiders for 7 years, total of 12 years in the National Football League, and had an amazing career, and now I'm still in Los Angeles.
Yeah, what an incredible athletic career you had here, Willie. So take me back then, if you could, to the beginning of your fatherhood journey then. About how old were you when you first became a dad, and how did that experience kind of change your perspective on life?
Well, it was Super Bowl. After the Super Bowl, we won the Super Bowl. My daughter was born in 1986, and it was amazing because she was so beautiful. And, it was something that was my daughter. So it was a great experience, and I had fun with her. And then my son was born after I was traded here to the Raiders in 1991. So we grew up. I played a lot. I actually tired him out a lot because I had a lot of energy. So I would play with them so hard, and that they would just go to sleep. I would run and chase them down the hallway of my house, and we'd do a lot of things and go outside and play. And at the beach, I lived on the beach in the Venice, Los Angeles area. So we spent a lot of time at the beach. And as much time as I could, I spent with them, which was great. I was always there.
Awesome. What would you consider to be the top values that you had hoped to instill in your kids growing up?
Work ethic, and also being your own person, making your own decisions. I was never a follower. I was always a leader. So I told my kids, if you make a decision, make it because you want to make it, not because someone else tells you to make it. Don't follow the crowd, because the crowd will do bad things, and you have to be responsible. I let them know what was right and what was wrong, but then I'll say it's your decision to make, because when you make a mistake, if you make a mistake, it's your mistake. You can't blame anyone else. You have to blame yourself. And that's been very, very helpful. My kids I'm very blessed. I've never had any problems, no drugs, no alcohol, no jail, none of that stuff, no trouble. So I've been very, very fortunate and to raise two amazing human beings.
Awesome. Great stuff, Willie. And I love to ask all the NFL dads that I get on here, just because it could be a difficult decision for a lot of dads out there, is whether or not to let their kids play tackle football, and what age is a good one to do that. So in your opinion here, what would you say, what is your opinion of young kids playing tackle football, and what would you say would be a good age to start?
Well, it would be difficult for me to prevent a kid from playing if they really, really desired it. Now, if the parents force them to, it's different. But if the kid go, I want to play football, I want to play, then you have to give them the right tools to be successful. We know a lot more than we knew when I was playing and when I was coming up about how to tackle, how to protect yourself, and everything else. So I was just arming them with the right tools. I mean, it would be a shame to try to take something away from someone who may be very talented and very successful at it, and not give them the opportunity. So I would definitely give them the opportunity, but also teach them the right and correct way to do things.
Yeah, and how about as far as the kids that Willie are looking to go next level? Obviously, you played Tennessee, had a great college career yourself. What about these kids, parents of these kids that are in high school now that are being recruited and are looking to take their talents to the next level? What kind of advice do you have for those parents on what to look for and how to steer them?
Well, again, the kid has to be into it, and he has to be good enough, of course, because when you go from one level to the next, you're not playing against one or two good guys. You're playing against all good guys. And the same thing from college to pros. You're not playing against one or two great defensive backs. You're playing against 4 or 5 per game. So it's just a confidence. You have to have confidence in yourself and your abilities. And you know where you are on the grade of things when you're competing. So if you understand it and you have confidence and you work hard, you can achieve anything you want. But you have to put in the work. A lot of people want to take the shortcuts. There are really hardly no shortcuts to life. You know, you have to go out and work hard in anything you do, whether it be, a doctor, a lawyer, or athlete, or whatever. You have to really put the time in. Very few people win the lottery. It's just one of those things where it doesn't happen. You have to work hard and go out and do those things, especially in athletics. If you don't work hard, you don't see the results. In track and field, which I ran, if you don't put the time in, your time will not be what you want it to be. So you have to work hard. Same thing in football, same thing in basketball, hockey, baseball, all the same. I mean, all the greats have all worked really hard. The Michael Jordans, the Barry Bonds, those Larry Birds and Magic Johnson, all those people have worked tremendously hard to achieve what they've achieved.
Yeah, well said. And I'm just curious, too, because I know now, kids definitely have more access because they have the ability to showcase their talents and send in video clips. We see a lot of people using that tool to send out. Is there something different about being recruited, seeing the talent in person versus people that are recording and sending in or recruiting through video? I know a lot of stuff now, of course, the pandemic, a lot of these kids had to do things through Zooms and stuff. Is there definitely a difference between seeing the talent in person versus seeing it when they send it in a video?
Oh, it's definitely a difference because you have to know and learn a person's personality. It's not always just about the athletics. I mean, some people are more gifted than others, but overall, you want a complete person because you have to play within a scheme of a sport. I mean, it's not an individual sport. Football is not, basketball is not. There are individual guys that do well, but it's a team sport. So you have to be able to conduct yourself within a team frame. And if you don't know that person, if you just see a video, then you don't really know what you're getting. But again, in this day and time in our world, we have people all over the world sending videos. So you have to do it. But it's nothing like one-on-one or being able to see someone in person, to be able to see how they walk, see how they talk, see their mannerisms, see how they interact with people. And that makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, good stuff. And staying on the video stuff, I had Jim McMahon on here recently. You guys had arguably one of the greatest teams of all time there. Obviously, the Super Bowl shuffle was a big deal. Now today, with all this social media, TikTok and Instagram and all, players have access to kind of get themselves in more trouble here or more areas. What do you think? How would the 1985 Bears fared with all the TikTok and social media? How would it have been a good thing or a bad thing for you guys?
We would not have been able to play. I mean, I don't know how it would have worked out. We had some really crazy guys. I mean, crazy fun, but we did things that were not, I guess, we were not supposed to do. So I'm not sure how well. I think guys would have been fined. Guys would have been suspended. But we had fun though. We had some great guys, and I cherish those times with my teammates.
Yeah, awesome. And let me pull it back into you as the dad here now for a second, Willie. What about as far as discipline goes? What type of disciplinarian were you as a dad with the kids growing up? And is that different than the discipline style that you grew up with?
Well, my discipline style was hand. I mean, we grew up in the South, so you were very respectful to your parents and adults and everything else. And as my kids grew up, it was a little bit different, not much though, because I was more of I like to talk to you to see why you're going through something, and then say, okay, you have a choice. The choice is you do it the right way, or you sit over here for an hour and not do anything. So I try to let the kids make the decision as opposed to me always making the decision. And they always, chose the right decision basically, because if they didn't, I would say, no, we got to do this. So I think it's different ways to do it. Of course, in the South, it was, a spanking or something like that, which I'm not opposed to that either. I think kids have to also know and fear something that's greater than themselves. When kids think that they're the greatest as far as controlling things, then, it becomes a little bit more difficult to raise them in the right way and to understand what's right and what's wrong, because there are rules that we have. If you break the rules, then you get punished. I mean, it's the same thing in society. If you break the rules in society, you get punished. You get jail time or you get whatever, So we have to condition our kids to understand that there are certain rules that you don't break. And if you break those rules, there are consequences. And so you try to make sure the rules that you're showing them are not as harsh as the rules that's going to happen, but you also give them the opportunity to see what can happen.
Yeah, wow, very well said. And Willie, I was one of the guys that grew up just wait till your father gets home, and a lot of times that would be enough to kind of straighten me out. One thing I talk about on the show a lot is the fatherless crisis that we have going on. We got so many kids growing up without a father or a father figure in their life, and then when they don't have that discipline or that maybe fear, it can lead them down to to some trouble that we're seeing in our society here. And I just think that if we could tighten up our family units here, I think most of the problems that we have in this country would start going away. What's your take?
Well, you're right. I mean, my mom was have to say, you wait till your father gets home. And I was like, oh my gosh, so the fear of that was enough for me to, do the right thing. And I mean, those things are important. I think the male figure to a male is so important, to a female also, a kid, but to a male kid is so important. And those males who don't grow up with the father, if they have some father figure, whether it be an uncle or a friend or family member, it's all important. That's why there's important to have these mentor programs like Eric Dickerson. I just went to a golf tournament yesterday where he has a warrior kid child where he actually fosters kids with no fathers, which is a great organization. So, it's always good that people have those type of organizations. And there are ways like Denzel Washington's, the Boys and Girls Club. So there is a way to be able to do that. I'm just appreciative of those type of organizations that help kids because they really need it.
Yeah, we just seen a recent story there. Dads on duty, these guys down in Louisiana that got together and went to go help out the school. I think, for a lot of those kids in the school that don't have dads or father figures in their life, I think that was a big eye opening. And we've seen the violence in that school pretty much just evaporate the minute those guys stepped on the campus there.
Oh, great. Because, whether or not males can be intimidating to, young males. And also the fact that they understand because we've been there. We all have been there, some of us in different degrees and other, but as a man, we know what it takes to be a man. And a woman knows what it takes to be a woman. I could never be a woman. I could never give a child what my, mother gave to me or a wife or a mother gives to a son or daughter. But in hindsight, she can't give what a male would give also. So it takes those two. It takes two to be able to raise a child in the right way. I mean, sometimes it doesn't work that way. But, and mothers are amazing because they do a great job. But overall, I would say if it can happen, males are important in kids' life for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then getting a little deeper into that, I have 4 kids myself, Willie. My youngest is my only girl. She's 7 right now. So I got quite a while to go here before I hit the where she gets into these things like the dating scene. I know you've been there and done that. So what kind of advice or how did you kind of handle it when your kids became old enough to start hitting that dating scene?
Well, I sort of talked to my daughter. My daughter and I have a great relationship. We talk about everything. And I was very tough with guys. When she had a guy she liked, I would go to the guy and go, look, I'm a guy. I know what you're thinking, but it's not going to work. And I intimidated him, basically. And one guy tried to run from me. I go, you're going to try to run from me? He goes, oh, you're right. You're fast. So it didn't work. But anyway, you as a father, you have to be tough, especially with daughters, because guys are guys. They're young kids, and some of them are great kids, and some of them are just going through puberty, and they're just having fun. But you have to protect your daughters. You have to.
Yeah, I'm trying to gear myself up for what's coming for me here. I got 3 older boys. She's got 3 older brothers, so I'm hoping that'll help me out.
That will definitely help. But also, when the first guy. Bring him to the house, sit him down, and all the guys go around him and just look at him. You don't have to say anything. Just look at him.
Yeah, get some sharks in the room there.
Exactly. If you got guns, put them around so they can see them and all that stuff. Or baseball bats and stuff like that.
Well, obviously, you had a storied NFL career here. What's going on with you right now, Willie? What kind of projects or what kind of goals are you working on for yourself here for the future?
Well, I'm basically in the commodities, and plus I play a lot of golf and a lot of charity events I go to, so I enjoy that, and that's basically what I do. I'm having fun here in Los Angeles, and staying healthy. That's basically what I try to do.
All right, and last thing I want to hit you with here, I love to ask all the dads that get on the podcast, what type of advice do you have for that new dad or for that about-to-be father who's out there listening?
Just enjoy it. It goes by fast. It goes really fast. It does. All of a sudden, you're looking up there in grade school, then high school, and then college, and then they're moving out and they've got married. So just enjoy the ride. It's a long ride, but it goes by fast. So enjoy every moment of it. There'll never be another moment like the one you experience when you experience it. So just understand that. And each kid's different. You can't pin each kid. It's going to be the same. It's not. They're totally different. So.
Yeah, very well said. I love the message. It's been an honor for me. I got to say, Willie Gault, you're a first-class father all the way, and thank you so much for giving me a few minutes of your time here on First Class Fatherhood.
Appreciate it. Have a good day.